Hey, this is Victor with Southern Keto, and today let's do a little keto in the car. It is a beautiful day here in South Carolina. All the flowers are in bloom. It is absolutely gorgeous down here. So today I want to do something just a little bit different. I wanted to give you my top tips on how to save some money when you're doing keto or carnivore. I don't know exactly how many tips, but I'm just going to keep going until I run out of tips. So my first tip for saving money on keto or carnivore is to definitely cook at home. If you already watch my channel, you probably like to cook because that's what I do a lot of on my channel. I do keto recipes and everything, and that's definitely the best way to save money. But I'm going to tell you, down here at least, you can go by any restaurant at any time of the day after they open, and the parking lots are completely full. There's usually a line outside. I just don't know how people do it every day. But it's going to save you a ton of money not going out to eat. Now, even lunch. You can plan ahead for the week and just pack your lunch every day so that you don't have to worry about it. And I know it's easy when people that you might work with or whatever say, hey, I'm going to such and such, what do you want? I know it's easy to, pay 10, 15 bucks for a lunch every day, but that adds up. And if you're trying to save money, that ain't gonna get you there. Now, along the same lines as cooking at home, you also want to buy in bulk when you can. Now, I've got a Sam's Club membership. We have a Costco that's about 30 miles from us, but I like Sam's a lot. I think their quality is really good. I'm sure Costco is too, but I've gotten used to Sam's, and it's 6-7 miles from my house, so it's super convenient for me to get to. And especially if you buy huge cuts of meat and cut them yourself into steaks, or you take a huge salmon fillet, cut it into pieces and freeze it, you can really save some money that way. And if you want something real quick, their frozen burger patties are awesome, and they're already pre-pattied, but they're nice and thick. A lot of times when you go to the grocery store and you get some of those beef patties, they are so thin and just tiny, and you got to eat 2 or 3 of them. Sam's has got a good size for their burger patties. And you can find choice or prime beef there. So normally I'll buy choice, which is another money saving tip, but I do like a good prime steak maybe once a week or so, just because it's so much more tender. The marbling's better, the flavor's better, but choice is fine. But once a week or so, I like to get fancy with it. So I like to do that prime. Now, another thing you can do to save some money on keto or carnivore is use the cheaper cuts of meat. There's a lot of cuts of beef that just need a little more preparation, and they're delicious. Things like the Denver steak, some of your tri-tips, and down here we do a lot of country fried steak or chicken fried steak, so that cube steak is super affordable. It's already tenderized usually when you get it, or you can do it yourself if you want to save a little bit more money, but it's usually cheap. It's usually really good deal, and it's a good alternative if you want beef. Chicken thighs are probably the best cut, in my opinion, of chicken. I do think it's important to spend a little bit more money on the chicken and get like a pasture raised, just something that doesn't have a whole lot of antibiotics or anything. But of course, if you buy it at somewhere like Sam's or one of those discount stores, you can get it cheap or even cheaper than it already is. Now, I like to go ahead and get if I can find it, the boneless but skin on. Now, if you make your own bone broth or you don't mind the bones, then the bone in, skin on is even cheaper. A lot of times I have to get boneless, skinless, but it still comes with a good bit of fat on there. But it's just a fattier cut anyway. It has a ton of flavor, and that's a good way to cut down on the price of the chicken. Now, another super affordable protein is eggs. You can get a dozen eggs, and I always say get the best that you can afford. But like if you got a farmer near you, most of their chickens are pasture raised. Really good quality. They feed them the right stuff. You can always tell when you crack it open. If you've seen any of the videos I've done from some of my local eggs, the yolks in there are just so orange and just nutritious looking. And I mean, they're awesome. And normally they sell them for a lot cheaper price than what you're going to find at the grocery store. But you can find eggs really cheap at the grocery store too. So it's always a good deal. Another money saving tip for keto and carnivore is to know all the grocery stores in your area and know where they rank price-wise. And I'll give you an example of what I do. The cheapest around me is Aldi. If you don't have an Aldi, that's all right. I know you got a Walmart, and Walmart's second. The third least expensive, or I'll say cheapest, is Food Lion. Number 4, we have Ingles here. Ingles Markets. And I love Ingles. I feel like they have the best quality of meat outside of Sam's and Walmart, because you can actually get prime cuts of steak at Walmart also. But Ingles just has always had great quality meat. And then the most expensive in my area, other than Whole Foods, I don't even count that. I don't set foot in there, is Publix. I can't stand Publix. You go in Publix, you're gonna pay $3 for a bell pepper. So I'm kind of out on that. The only cool thing to me about Publix is when you walk down their frozen aisles, the lights just come on as you walk. It's kind of like being a rock star or something. Like the stuff just lights up for you as you walk down through there. But as much money as they're saving turning those lights off, looks like they could save me some money on my grocery bill, but they're expensive. But then again, they don't have self-checks either, which I don't mind, but if you don't like self-checks, that's the only one of all those stores that don't have self-checks. When I go in Sam's, I ring the stuff up as I'm going through the store. I just scan it on my phone and pay for it while I'm walking to go out of there. So I love the convenience of it. Some people like to stand in a line for 10 minutes to wait to see somebody. I don't have time for that. Doesn't bother me a bit, but I understand. And speaking of those stores, make sure you download those stores' apps. What I do when I'm making my grocery list, and I always make a list, I don't go in there blind, because that's actually another tip to save money. Go into the grocery store with a plan and stick to the plan. It's a little easier for me because I've got some ideas on recipes I want to create for the week. And so I'll just go and write down everything that I need ingredient-wise, and I'll make my list from home. So I'll go in, for example, and I'll pull up. Now, Aldi doesn't have an app, but I just know that it's cheap. And I know if it's not on sale at one of my other stores that I got the app for, it's going to be cheaper at Aldi. But I got my Food Lion app, I got the Publix app, because you can get some deals at Publix when they have things on sale. And I've got the Ingles app, so I pull it up. And so things that I can't get at Aldi or Walmart, like my Zevia, I love Zevia sodas. They're made with stevia, so they don't spike your blood sugar, and they're delicious. If you were a soda drinker before you got on keto or carnivore, now it's not going to taste exactly like a Coke, don't get me wrong, but their cola is great. My favorites are the cola. The cream soda is phenomenal. That's my wife's favorite, but it doesn't have any caffeine in it, and I like my caffeine. But I like the cola, the Dr. Zevia, the Mountain Zevia. So, I mean, you know what all those are. They just take the name and change it to Zevia. But they've got a no caffeine cola if you like the cola, but you don't like the caffeine. Any of the caffeinated ones are my favorite. But then the cream soda, the creamy root beer, the regular root beer, and the ginger root beer. The ginger root beer is a game changer. I didn't know how it was going to be the first time I tried it, but man, it's got some great flavor. It's got just a little hint of ginger in there, but it's mainly a nice root beer flavor. Anyway, I'm a little off track, but anyway, with things like that, I'm going to go into my grocery store apps at home, check it out and see if it's on sale. Also, the Stir that I use in my electrolytes, you can't find that at Walmart or Aldi either. So I look it up. Whichever place it's at on sale, that's where I go. And it's a little bit more trouble, but it's not a whole lot more trouble. And it saves a ton of money. I mean, you would be shocked at how much money it saves. It does take a little bit of time, but not that much more. My Food Lion's right across the street from Ingles. My Aldi is about a mile from Walmart, and Publix is basically right across the street from Walmart. And if it saves me $50 or $100 on groceries when I go, to me that's worth it. For a couple dollars in gas and a little bit of time, it's worth it to me. And getting back to those stores like Sam's or Costco, I know you see in my videos that I use the smaller containers of herbs. What you don't see is I've got a stockpile in my wife's workshop, which used to be our 2-car garage. She has a soap business, if you didn't know. She does soaps and bath products, and we enclosed our 2-car garage about 12 years ago or so. And I've got racks out there where I keep bulk spices that I buy at Sam's. And so I just refill those small containers. And you may have seen the picture on my community tab or on Facebook or in my Facebook group of like the back of my pantry door with all my spices organized in there. And so I would refill those with bulk herbs and spices from Sam's. Now, if you don't use a lot of herbs and spices, then don't get the big ones because you don't want them to go bad. But I use so many spices, there's not a chance of them going bad. And if you do any nuts or seeds, basically any of the non-perishable stuff, stock up on it. Canned chicken. If you've seen my chicken salad chick video, you know I like the canned chicken. Sam's usually has that on a great deal, so just stock up on things like that. Buy them in bulk, and it saves you money in the long run, even over stores like Aldi and Walmart. So the bigger quantity you can buy, in most cases, the more money you're going to save. So anyway, back to planning your meals. Sit down at the beginning of the week, and like I said, for me it's easy because I'm doing recipes, so I know kind of what I want to make. But if you'll sit down and either go through my videos or go through your recipes or go through whatever you have and figure out kind of what you want to do for the week and plan it out. And you can plan it out based on what's on sale, what you can go grab, and use the same ingredients in several different meals. So like for example, if you want to do my Chipotle burritos, you're going to buy chicken. So you get a huge pack of chicken thighs. Well, one night you can have the Chipotle burritos, and then another night you could have my bacon wrapped chicken thighs. And so you're getting a sale. If you get a deal at the grocery store, then you can do it that way, or just go buy a big pack at Sam's or whatever, and just plan 2-3 meals a week around that. I usually only eat once a day, but my wife normally eats a lunch and dinner, and sometimes I'll grab a lunch with her, but we always plan to have the same thing for lunch at least 2-3 days a week. I know you've asked for a what I eat in a day video, and I'm going to have one of those coming out soon. So I just film kind of stuff every once in a while that we're eating. It's probably going to be easier for me to do like a what I eat in a week video, just because I only eat once a day. But I'm gonna get that video done for you. So plan those meals around what's on sale, or plan several meals around the same foods, and that'll save you some money for sure. Now this is a tip, and this works, and a lot of these apps, so I'm telling you to download, have digital coupons. Now if you have the time to do regular coupons, which you can go online. Now 10 years ago, we used to go and grab a couple Sunday papers. My wife was real into this. But like we had this stockpile built up, and a lot of times you could use coupons in addition to store codes, and there's a few good websites out there that you can go to if you're interested in this, and I'll try to remember to link those down in the description. If not, I know you'll remind me, and then I'll put them in there, but I'll do my best to put them in there to start with. But a lot of times we go and buy things like toothpaste, and we could get 4 or 5 toothpastes that would last us for a couple months, and they'd be free. Or sometimes they'd even pay us to buy them, which was weird. Like she'd come home with a receipt, and she would have spent $100 in groceries, but saved $200. And I'm like, how in the world did you do that? And it was this crazy coupon thing. I think that's one of the websites too. It's like Crazy Coupon Lady or something like that. But Southern Savers is another one. But there's a lot of good regional ones in your area. But now you don't have to go to the store and get the Sunday paper anymore and clip coupons and walk around the store with them. And I always kind of hung back a little bit. She'd like have the shopping cart, and I'd be hanging back just grabbing stuff. And she'd do the coupon thing. And I'm kind of like, I'm not walking through the store like with a whole stack of coupons. But now you can do it digital. So when you go to check out and you put in your phone number at the register, it already has your digital coupons loaded because you did your homework beforehand. You've already got your digital coupons loaded. And when you go check out, because you've already got a plan, it takes those coupons off right at the register in addition to any extra sales and things that they have, because you planned before you got there. So the coupon thing is huge. I remember my mom used to have this whole like thick folder that she'd carry around her purse with her that was full of coupons. I mean, she had it sorted by like what month they expire and all this kind of stuff, and she was good at it too. But I can't keep up with all that. I do it online. It's easy. Put it on my app. When I go to the store, it's there for me, and it takes it off automatically. I don't have to fool with it. Now, another thing that will save you some money if you do vegetables. If you eat vegetables, get frozen vegetables. The thing about frozen vegetables, a lot of times they're actually more fresh, unless you buy them locally, than what they are if you buy them in the grocery store. Because you don't know how far the vegetables in the grocery store have traveled, if they were ripe when they were picked, which means that they have the most vitamin and mineral content in them. Most of the times they have to pick them ahead of their peak ripeness because they might have to travel 1,000 miles to get to you. So they harvest them before they're ready, so they never actually get the vitamin and mineral content that they're supposed to get to. But frozen vegetables are picked fresh, usually at the peak of their ripeness, and then they're frozen right then. So the vitamin and mineral content in those is going to be more than if you buy them in the grocery store. Now, if you're carnivore, that probably does not apply to you, and you're probably like, stop with the vegetables, not doing the vegetables, but just saying, I think I got more keto people in here than carnivore, but you can apply that to frozen meat as well. Just make sure you check the ingredients, but 9 times out of 10, your frozen meat is going to be cheaper than your fresh meat. And you can find, if you like grass-fed, you can get the grass-fed frozen for the same price as the fresh regular. So you can save money that way too if you like a little higher quality. The next thing you can do to save some money on keto or carnivore, and I've said this many times before, don't try to be super fancy. Get the best meat you can afford. I think it is worth spending a little bit of extra money on the chicken, but get the best meat you can afford. But you can do keto on Spam. I know some of you are going to check me on that. There is a little bit of carbs on Spam. Watch for that coming soon. I got a couple Spam recipes coming up. My wife thinks I'm crazy for that, but I mean, I just want to show you that no matter what your budget is, you can do keto, and you can do keto cheap. And hopefully these tips are helping you. And if you know somebody else that these tips might help, please share this video with them. And if you've got any tips that I haven't gone over in this video, make sure you leave me a comment so I can know about it myself, because one thing about me, I love saving money. I am thrifty, but I'd say a better title would be cheap. I'm cheap. But anyway, frozen vegetables are going to save you some money, and you don't have to worry about the quality of them. The quality is there. And check those sales on those, because frozen vegetables are on sale all the time. Now, the next thing can save you some money on keto or carnivore is growing your own herbs. Now, I use a lot of herbs. In all the videos that I film in like the fall and winter, you'll always see I buy the packages of herbs at the store. The spring and summertime, I grow all my own herbs outside. It is super cheap. A pack of seeds, you can get a pack of seeds at the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree's got seeds, 5 for $1.25. You can get dill, you can get cilantro, you can get parsley, you can get basil, you can get thyme. I've got 2 big rosemary bushes out in my yard. Those are the things that overwinter. And then the parsley comes back every year, just about. Now, we had a cold winter last year, so I don't know how good it's going to come back, but it always comes back every year. And the same thing if you grow bell peppers. If it's mild enough, bell peppers will actually come back every year. And not just herbs, you can grow, I mean, if you like gardening, you can grow your own onions. I always do, my garden is normally peppers, like jalapenos, bell peppers. I'll do tomatoes. I've got that marinara sauce video, but I also freeze my own tomatoes to use in sauce, using basically that same recipe. And then I'll throw in some radishes for like my keto mashed potato recipe. I'll grow some radishes, and then I'll plant basil in between the tomatoes. It's a good companion plant that goes together. Yeah, leave me a comment too if you want to see my garden or parts of it or my herbs or whatever. I want to make sure I put stuff on here that you like, but you know, I can show you what's going on behind the scenes some too. But yeah, growing your own herbs and or vegetables will save you a ton of money. Now, I'm self-employed. I've got a pressure washing business, and my wife's got the soap business. But if you work all day long and you've got that temptation of going out to eat every day, I would recommend meal prepping. And it kind of goes back to that thing of planning your meals all week, except that like on Sunday or on Saturday, you go in and just cook a bunch of whatever you want to eat for the week. And I did this when I was doing personal training. What I would do every week, I'd go to Sam's, buy a big, huge pack of chicken breasts at the time. And one week I would smoke the chicken breasts. The next week I would bake some. The next week I'd do like a barbecue chicken. And then I would portion them all out, put a little bit of frozen vegetable in each one the night before. And I'd have 2 or 3 open bags of frozen vegetables in the freezer. And I just kind of decide what I might be in the mood for the next day at work. So I just pour the frozen vegetables in there at night. And then by the time I got ready for lunch the next day, those vegetables were thawed and my smoked meat was ready to go, or my baked chicken or whatever it was ready to go. And I could just heat it up in the microwave and be ready to go. That saved a ton of money. It might have cost me 20 bucks to eat lunch, and I ate a lot of chicken. I ate a ton of protein. Where you go out now, you can spend 20 bucks going out to lunch one time. So definitely, if you've got that, if you can meal prep, just get some of those little divided containers, and you could really do meat, and you could do a vegetable, and you're good to go. And if you do enough meat, and make sure you do some fatty meat. If you're doing chicken breasts like I did, I always drizzle some olive oil in there too, just for some fat, so I wouldn't be hungry between meals. Now by the time I got home at night, I was good to go. But that will save you a ton of money. Now another thing that can save you some money, and I do this a lot, is I love lard, but lard's expensive. Beef lard. Now I'm not talking about the cheap stuff you can get. If you're going to do lard, buy the good stuff. But just buying things like olive oil and avocado oil, of course you want to stay away from the seed oils, which I've always recommended, but olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oil are three really healthy oils that you can buy in bulk again. You can get it at Sam's, and it's not that expensive. Now, of course, by far, the cheapest thing to do, and I've mentioned this on my videos with that microwave bacon grill and that little silver bacon grease container that I got. Whenever you cook bacon in that microwave bacon grill, it traps all that good bacon grease right in the bottom, and then you just dump it into that silver bacon grease collector that's got the strainer in it, and use bacon grease to cook with. You're buying the bacon anyway, and that's free oil. But if you need extra oil, I definitely recommend avocado and olive first, and then coconut oil. You can get coconut oil at Dollar Tree. I did that for my Dollar Tree video. But if you want free, well, it's not free, you gotta buy the bacon. But use bacon grease to cook everything. But if you need a neutral flavor, for a lot of my recipes, like you can do the Duke's mayonnaise, but you want to use that avocado oil in that because you want a neutral flavor. But you can do that bacon grease Duke's mayonnaise, which I love, but it's going to have the bacon flavor. So if you want the regular traditional Duke's flavor, use avocado. If you don't mind that little bit of bacon flavor, which I think is delicious, then use that bacon grease. Now another thing you can do to save money, I don't even know how many tips I'm at right now. I'm going to have to count these when I go back to like cut out a few parts of this video. But one thing you can do to save money is these keto products, like at Aldi and everything, are expensive. Now I'm working on some recipes for like the coconut clusters. I love those coconut clusters at Aldi. You really have to limit them because there are carbs, and you know, if the carbs start to creep in, because you're like, well, I'll just have a few nuts, or yeah, I'm gonna do some of these keto clusters. Well, before you know it, you really got to limit the amount that you're eating, which is really hard when you're doing some of those products because they're so freaking good. But if you avoid the things that have keto in the title at the store, and you learn to make your own, or check some of my recipes coming soon to learn how to make some of these things, it'll save you some money. And it's not a money saving tip, but yeah, just check the carbs on those things. And if you have a hard time limiting your portions, you got to know yourself. If you have a hard time limiting the portions, just stay away from them, because it's not worth it to say you're doing keto and then blow your keto diet because you're having carbs that are kind of a lot of times hidden. Now another thing that goes along with this, where I was talking about going out to eat, is going and getting a coffee in the morning. Now I know you can get the double skinny frappa latte cappuccino whatever at Starbucks, and you can make it low carb, you know, 2 shots of espresso, whatever. Yes, you can make it keto, you can make it low carb, but you can also spend $250 a month on freaking coffee. I figured out my cost on coffee is something like 10 or 11 cents a cup. And the best place I found to find coffee, a lot of times, and you can even find organic there, which, I mean, I'm kind of up in the air about that. I buy the organic when I can, if they have it on sale at Big Lots. But most times I'll just buy regular coffee. But it is super cheap there. Sam's is super cheap. Aldi's super cheap, and of course Walmart. But yeah, for those huge boxes, which again, you know, buy in bulk. If you can get those huge boxes at Big Lots or Sam's, that's going to save you the most money. And you go from spending $5 to $8 a morning on coffee to 10 to 15 cents, 20 cents if you really want to get fancy with it. I mean, that saves you a lot of money. And man, they get you with that coffee too. Oh, and then you got to leave a tip, and you know, it's a whole thing when you go there. Sorry, I had to pull in and get me a coffee. I'm just kidding. I had to get gas. I just noticed sitting here talking and my gas end was on empty. So I had to get some gas real quick. But yeah, whether it's Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or Coyote Coffee or I don't know, whatever you got, it's gonna save you a lot of money if you'll just take the extra 2 minutes in the morning and make it at home. And you can add exactly what you want in with it. Now, I like black coffee, but occasionally sometimes I'll do a little bit of heavy cream or like a unsweetened creamer if I want a little bit of flavor, but 9 times out of 10 I just drink it black. That's not a money saving tip, I was just saying. Well, actually it is, because you're not buying creamer. It saves you heavy cream, so I guess it is a money saving tip. Drink your coffee black. How about that? That was an unexpected tip. Now, I kind of hinted at this already earlier, but when you're buying produce, look at what's in season. So your non-starchy vegetables, you know, your asparagus, even greens and stuff. I do a lot of big salads from time to time. I don't do them all the time, but you know, 2-3 months out of the year, I like to do salads. And I will grow salad out in the backyard too, kind of in the colder months. I didn't do it this year. I just really didn't feel like messing with it. I still haven't planted anything this year other than my herbs, but it's coming. I'll get some tomatoes in the ground and stuff. They got a San Marzano tomato that I get seeds for that are awesome. And for that marinara sauce, it is killer. But yeah, if you can go to your local farmer's market, you know your non-starchy vegetables. I really want to make a video about that soon also. So leave a comment down there if you want to see that, and I'll do it. But yeah, go to the farmer's markets. That'll save you some money. And buying local is always great. Love buying local, supporting our local farmers, local businesses. Because me and my wife both have local businesses, and it's important to support the people around you when you can. And the same goes for meat. We've got a lot of grass-fed beef farmers around. A lot of times it's just not convenient for me to go to the farmer's market because my Saturdays a lot of times are really, really busy. And so I'll run to Aldi and pick up beef or whatever, or Ingles. But you know, we got some local people that do some really good grass-fed beef, lamb. I'll wear their shirt on here from time to time. I think they're going to actually start shipping too. So if you don't have any good farmers around you that raise good grass-fed beef or beef in general, they may be offering some of that soon. But anyway, just choose what's in season and buy it local. It's usually less expensive to get it from a farmer than it is from the store anyway, if you can. Now another tip that's going to save you some money, especially if you don't have like a Sam's or a Costco around you, is make your own keto staples. And by that I mean like almond flour, like the pork panko, bone broth, even almond milk you can make yourself. Now if you got a Sam's, you can get the almond flour just as cheap as buying almonds themselves and grinding them. And you can do the same thing with herbs. You could buy bulk herbs or grow bulk herbs, dry them yourself, and just use a coffee grinder to grind them up. I've got a coffee grinder I use just for spices. And I got a pepper mill, so I buy the peppercorns and do that, but I make a lot of spice blends too. So I just throw a lot of big bulk herbs in that spice grinder, or really a coffee grinder, and I'll just grind them up. And that'll save you a little bit of money too. But if you've seen my pork panko video, pork breadcrumb video, you know how much money you can save by doing that yourself. Same thing with electrolytes. I've got a video about that because I don't like paying big bucks for electrolytes when I can make them myself for pennies on the dollar. And that's where finding those sales comes in handy. Because with my electrolytes, it's a Stir. Stir is what I sweeten it with. Because I don't know about you, but I can't drink just straight salt water, which is, I've messed up sometimes and forgot to add in Stir when I made electrolytes. And man, to me, there ain't nothing worse than that. I don't know how like a strict carnivore does it, to be honest with you. Like you can do unflavored electrolytes for real. When stevia is not going to hurt you. I don't know, that's some hardcore people, man. But it takes all kinds to make the world go round. And there's all kinds in the keto and carnivore community. And I love all of them because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. Be healthy, happy, and feel the best we possibly can. I just can't do it with no sweetener. I apologize. And the last money-saving tip, and this is probably the best one in my opinion. All those are good, but look, if you can intermittent fast, just skipping breakfast, all right? Let's say that's cheap. You do a cheap breakfast. It's eggs and bacon. It's pretty inexpensive, right? What? $3-4 a day. Maybe not even that. I don't know. I have to add it up. I'm not good at math in my head. But say it's $3 a day. At the end of the month, you saved yourself $90 back in your pocket from doing something that's great for you anyway, that's going to supercharge your keto or carnivore results, and it's going to save you money. That's a no-brainer. Now, if you can do like me, most days I'm OMAD. I'm not mad, OMAD, 1 meal a day. So let's add that up, if I can do this in my head. I know some of y'all freaking out right now because I got this big truck beside me, but I always pay attention to the road. I'll let him get on around me though. Let's say you do what I said and you bring your lunch to work. And so instead of costing you $15 a day, let's just say it costs you $5. You could probably do it cheaper than that, but let's just say $5. So that's $150 savings a month. Add that to that 90, and that's $240. Let's round it up. You just saved yourself $250 a month if you can go to 1 meal a day. If you can just skip breakfast, might as well say $100. So you can save $100 by doing intermittent fasting. And I'll link a video up here somewhere, it might be up there, I think it's up here, about intermittent fasting and all the benefits that it has for you. But I hope these tips can save you some money. Please leave me a comment if you've got some money-saving tips that I didn't cover, because the more money I can save, the more money I can have to buy ingredients to keep putting out these videos for you, get some better equipment, keep putting out better quality videos. So every little bit helps. I appreciate you guys that send me the super thanks and things like that. It really helps me a ton, because it's not cheap to do this, because I might, for a recipe I put out, I might have to make it 5 times to make sure it's perfect. So every little bit you guys do helps. And thanks for sharing all these videos and all your comments. I love reading every single one of them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.